Alright, what is going on? What is happening? How's everybody doing today? My name is Chuck and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be going over my top 5 best classes for you guys to use here on Warzone or Rebirth, whatever it is you're going to be playing. These are going to be the best classes you guys can possibly use. And these things are going to be like my tried and true, like the best ones I can possibly think of to give you. So you guys are definitely going to enjoy today's video. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys drop like in the next 5 seconds for some good luck and hit that subscribe button with all notifications turned on because I'm on the road to 800,000 subscribers and be amazing if you join the squad. Hold up, before any farther into the video, I'd like to introduce you to today's video sponsor, Legion Farm. Legion Farm lets you team up with the world's best gamers to improve your skills, stats, win more games, stack kills, and enjoy excellent comms and unparalleled professional team plays with good vibes only. Essentially what they allow you to do is they allow you to hire the top 0.1% of pro players to be able to come in game and coach you to get better. And I should mention that they have people available for all this stuff 24/7. What is really awesome as well is that over on Legion Farm, they have a really awesome supportive gaming community, so if you ever want to make some friends, you guys can definitely find some through there. I know gaming alone cannot be the most fun thing in the world, so that's why it's pretty good to go check Legion Farm out. And to get into some of the nitty-gritty stuff here, some of the good details to show you what they actually can do, on average, a customer that plays 10 sessions with us goes from a 1.4 KD and a 3% win rate to a 1.64 KD and an 8% win rate within a 1 to 3 month period. And they even keep progressing in their matches without the pros. And when you are playing with a pro player, your win rate can skyrocket from like a 20 to a 33%. I know there's plenty of people out there that don't really win more than maybe 5 matches an entire month. Why would you not want to be able to do that in a single day? So you, or if anyone else out there that you know is wanted to get significantly better at Warzone, you wanted to learn, you wanted to be able to win more matches, you want to have a higher KD, you want to also make some pretty cool friends, you should definitely go check out Legion Farm at the top link in the description below. It is truly an amazing service that is dedicated to helping you, the player, get better in every which way and giving you an amazing gaming community. Thank you so much to Legion Farm for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so for the first gun here, we're going to be hopping into the MAC-10. This is a top tier SMG you guys can use right now. So let's actually jump into this. The first thing we're going to be using on this is actually going to be the agency suppressor. We normally speaking would have been using the sound suppressor, but since that season 4 reloaded update, a lot of the SMGs we've kind of had to revert back to using the agency on it just because it is significantly more effective than using the sound suppressor. So if I was you guys, I would use the agency suppressor. This is definitely by far going to be, my choice now. Unfortunately, I can't use that sound anymore. It doesn't feel nearly as effective. So just go and use the agency and it should be fine for you. In the barrel section, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to go ahead and use that 5.9 task force. This is undoubtedly going to be the most effective barrel for the MAC-10 for that effective damage range, bullet velocity, and strafe speed. This did not get touched here within that season 4 reloaded update to my knowledge, and I will definitely say that this thing for sure hits when you happen to have that task force on there. There's no other barrel that I really would consider using unless the task force gets nerfed into the ground, which I don't think it's going to. I would just say to go ahead and use this one permanently. There's no real reason to use anything else. In the laser section, we're going to go ahead and throw on the Tiger Team Spotlight, and what this is going to do is increase our movement speed and our aim walking movement speed. You could probably substitute this out here if you really wanted to with something like maybe a bruiser grip, and that could definitely do a similar sort of effect, and you wouldn't have to have that flashlight, but you do get a little bit more movement speed with this thing. So it's kind of like the upside of you get more movement speed, but you also have the downside of that the enemies can see you with with your flashlight, but it also does illuminate some people that are going to be in corners, which can definitely be very good and very useful. So I would say the Tiger Team is well worth it. For the ammunition side of things, what we're doing here is we're going to go down and use that Stenag 53 round drum. I had to explain this here to somebody in the comment section just the other day that the reason we're not using the Salva 53 round fast mag is because the ADS penalty on the fast mag is a little bit too much for our liking, and also that it realistically doesn't make you reload all that much faster. So there's no real benefit to using the fast mag, considering you're just going to hinder yourself in close range by not being able to aim down sights as fast, and you don't really reload all that much faster. So just go and use a Stenag 53 round drum and you'll be plenty taken care of. The reload on this thing is perfectly fine, so don't really mess with it. Just always run this. And to finish this whole build out, we're going to go ahead here into the stock category and use the Raider stock for that ADS firing movement speed, aim walking movement speed, and sprint to fire time. Overall, an absolutely amazing attachment. I love the Raider stock. I think it's incredible, to be honest with you. And I've been running this on my MAC-10 for, basically God knows how long. It's either that or the no stock attachment is, basically my other choice. I never go with the SAS Combat. Some people like that, but for me, I like the Raider stock. So definitely go ahead and run this. Overall, an amazing attachment, an amazing build, you guys should definitely be using here in Warzone. An amazing secondary. So go and try it out. For our second gun, let's take a look at the GRAU 5.56. This thing did get buffed here within that most recent update. It's become a lot more effective. So I'd say that this is for sure an amazing AR you guys should be using. So let's hop in here to my first attachment category, which is going to be the muzzle. And what we're doing here is we are going to throw on the monolithic suppressor for that sound suppression and that damage range. Overall, the mono is going to be the best possible attachment in here. There's no real reason to use something like the lightweight or the tactical. Like, you could potentially use the regular suppressor or the sound suppressor for the Cold War guns. These just don't really have any type of benefit. They've been left the same ever since, you know, Warzone came out. So always just run the mono on every single Modern Warfare AR, SMG, you know, LMG. It doesn't really matter. Always run the mono. For the barrel side of things, what we're doing here is we're going to throw on the Tempest 26.4 Archangel barrel. This is going to give us the maximum damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. And also the Tempest barrel has incredible iron sights. So I would highly suggest you run the Tempest barrel, and you're going to be able to run around with this as a crazy good mid-range AR if you want to keep this as just the iron sights. And you could also switch this up to be more long range, considering the GRAU has hardly any recoil, and the recoil it does have is incredibly manageable. Now for the foregrip, we're just going to go with the very first one you get here, aka the Commando foregrip. I don't think there's any reason to go crazy hard on this thing. You don't really got to go crazy, you know, with it and go something like, you know, a Merc foregrip, you know, the Cronin Shark, the Ranger. You don't got to do any of that shenanigans. We're just going to go with the Commando, and this is going to take care of all your recoil. It doesn't really matter what you're doing, what range you're at. This is going to be perfect. And if you can't control this, I guess you could go with the Ranger or something like that, but realistically, you need to work on controlling your recoil if you can't handle a GRAU with a Commando foregrip. So just go and use the Commando. For the ammunition, you guys know what I'm about to do here. I'm going to throw in that 60 round magazine, and y'all know that I'm going to say I'm a 60 round magazine kind of guy. That's just what I do, man. Like I'm saying, like I always run a 60 round magazine, so just run the 60. I don't think there's any benefit to running the 50. It's kind of weird that it seems like, you know, the 50 is a little bit longer than the 60, but hey, it is what it is. You could definitely run the 50 if you're playing solos, and that would be entirely acceptable, but anything like duos, trios, and quads, you for sure got to run the 60 round magazine. You just have to do it. And then to finish this whole build off here, what we're going to do is we're going to throw on the tac laser, and this is going to increase our ADS speed and of course then help us with our aiming stability and our aim walking steadiness. It's essentially just going to obviously help us aim down sights faster, but we're going to be able to have more of that laser pinpoint accuracy because the gun's going to bounce around less, and it's going to feel more like a laser beam, and in turn feel like it has less recoil. So like I said, this is going to be a great medium range or to even slightly closer range type of AR, but you should definitely, when you get those close ranges, whip out like your SMG, like for instance the MAC-10. But overall, the tac laser is going to be an amazing attachment. This is a really aggressive GRAU build, so y'all gonna have some fun with this one. It is amazing for, you know, regular Verdansk, and especially on Rebirth Island. Now we're gonna be taking a look at a gun that has made a resurgence here within that Season 4 Reloaded update, and that's gonna be the Modern Warfare MP5. So this thing is a solid SMG you guys should be using. So first thing is first here, we have the option either go into the muzzle category to throw on a suppressor, or to go into the barrel category and use an integrated. And we're gonna go straight to the muzzle category, and we're gonna throw on the monolithic suppressor here on the end of the gun. And the reason behind this why is that it feels like you get more mobility out of the gun, and also for my personal like preference and what I've seen and used this gun, I feel like the iron sights are just a little bit better when I'm using the mono on the end of the gun as opposed to the integral. It just feels more effective to me. So I would say that you can't necessarily go wrong by throwing on either or the muzzle or, you know, the integrated, but I'd for sure say that I've seen a lot more pros and really solid players using the mono suppressor on the end of the gun. So this is what we're going to be going with here, and I've used this and it's absolutely amazing. So I would just recommend going with the mono. For the underbarrel, what we're doing here is we're going to go through with that tried and true Merc foregrip. For that recoil control and hipfire accuracy, the MP5 has incredible hipfire accuracy, to be honest with you guys, and we're just going to help that out a little bit more. We want to be able to accentuate the benefits we get with using a specific gun, and this is what the Merc foregrip is going to do. It's also going to help us with that little bit of that wacky recoil, because the MP5 is not like a straight laser beam. It's going to have some recoil, a little bit of kick, so we're trying to mitigate that as much as possible, and the Merc foregrip is just your ideal thing to throw on this gun. For the ammunition side of things, we're going to go with the 45 round magazine. There's no reason you should run the 10mm auto 30 round. I see people run this in pubs, you know, like in regular Modern Warfare multiplayer matches. Yeah, it can work there, but in Warzone, you want the 45 round magazine. It's just overall going to be better. You're going to be able to take out more people per clip, and that just makes sense. We're not trying to be able to, you know, expel our 30 rounds and have to reload, and then there's another person or two around the corner which you cannot engage because you don't have the ammo to do so. So it just makes sense for you to throw on the 45 round magazine. You're going to do, I guess, technically a slight bit less damage, but overall your damage per magazine is going to be far outweighed with the 45 round magazine as opposed to the 10mm 30 round. Now for our next attachment, we're going to be in here in the rear grip section, and we're going to throw on that stipple grip tape for that ADS speed and sprint to fire speed. It does negatively affect your aiming stability ever so slightly, but that's entirely okay. It doesn't really matter. This thing is just going to be very, very useful at close range. We're just trying to be able to bolster our mobility with this thing. We got increased hipfire accuracy with that, Merc foregrip. Now we're trying to be able to bring our gun up faster and be able to obviously ADS a little bit faster, so that's really good. So I'd recommend running the stipple grip tape. And then to finish this whole thing off, we're going to use the 5MW laser for that hipfire accuracy and sprint to fire speed. This is just going to be the ultimate hipfire close quarters range build on the MP5. I would highly suggest you guys try this one out, especially on Verdansk or Rebirth, whatever you're playing, it does not matter. You're going to be able to take a lot of people out with this hipfire, and it is no joke. So just go ahead and run this. I love the MP5. I'm glad it's making a bit of a resurgence, as it's truly, truly an amazing SMG. Okay, for our fourth option here, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at probably the #1 AR in Warzone right now, which is the Krig 6. The Krig is undoubtedly a top tier AR, if not the best one you guys can possibly use. So I got to make a class setup for this thing. So first thing here, muzzle category, we're going down for the agency suppressor here. Like I said, this is like the equivalent of the mono suppressor for the ARs. We just have to use this. We're not going to go with that regular suppressor because this is ultimately an AR built for that medium to long range. So we're going to be able to have as much of that long range benefit as possible. We're not trying to ADS quicker and do all that stuff here. So we're going to use the agency suppressor. Now on the barrel side of things, we're going to go ahead and throw on the 15 CMV mil spec barrel. This is what I would call basically the task force barrel of this gun. It's just going to be the best one. This is really going to mitigate all your recoil and help you out significantly with, your effective damage range and your bullet velocity. So, I mean, overall, this barrel is awesome, and it essentially takes out the need for running a foregrip in any way, shape, or form, and that is truly amazing. You're talking about a medium to long-range gun, so I'd highly recommend you run this. For the ammunition, I've seen a couple people run the 45-round base magazine here, but I personally, like I said, I'm going for that 60-round magazine. I find that if I'm using an AR and I'm trying to hit those shots at medium to long range, it pays off more often than not for me to run a 60-round magazine or the largest magazine possible, with the exception of like the Kilo. I'm not running the 100-round drum magazine. I'm just going for the 60 on that. But, for like all intents and purposes here, we're using the 60 on basically all of our ARs. So just go ahead and run this. And like I said, if you're playing like solos or something, like we added the 50-round magazine on the GRAU if you're playing solos, you can run the 45 on the Krig if you're playing solos. But like I said, we're running duos, trios, and quads, so we're always running the 60. And because we don't have an underbarrel, what we're going to do is we're going to go throw in a rear grip, and that's kind of bolster our mobility here, and that's going to be the serpent wrap for that increased ADS time. This thing can move a tad bit slow, and so that's why we're trying to speed it up a little bit by running the serpent wrap. It's not like the FARA 83 where you need that foregrip now. This, you don't need a foregrip whatsoever, so just run the serpent wrap here, boost up your ADS time, and it's going to be awesome. And to finish off this build here, I'm going to go in and throw on the Axial Arms 3x scope. By far my favorite scope to throw on any of these Cold War ARs. Truly speaking, it is amazing, and I would suggest for all of you guys to use this. I've seen a couple people though like to use that Royal Cross 4x, but I'll keep it a stack with you. I think it zooms in a little bit too much for my liking, so that's why I'm gonna run the Axial Arms 3x, and it's gonna be awesome. So you should just run this. This is an amazing Krig build right here. Fantastic. Probably #1 AR in Warzone. Definitely go and give it a shot. I mean, if I was you guys, I would be using this and probably keeping this on my classes at all points in time. Now to finish this video off, I'm gonna have to use one of my favorite SMGs in Warzone right now, which is gonna be the Bullfrog. I love the Bullfrog, and I think you guys are going to get a lot of good use out of this setup here. So first thing first, muzzle category, throwing on that GRAU suppressor. We have to do this now, like I said, because that Season 4 update, I just believe that it's more effective with the GRAU. I would love to be able to run the sound suppressor, but I felt like it was taking maybe too many shots to be able to kill somebody, so I just need to use that GRAU suppressor. We're going to throw this on there. For the barrel section, we're going to go ahead and throw on the 7.4 Task Force. This is going to increase that effective damage range, bullet velocity, and of course that strafe speed, which is going to make us more effective at close range, because that's, the range we're going to be using this. It says you get a negative of vertical and horizontal recoil control, but hey, listen, the Bullfrog really don't got recoil, so we don't got to worry about like anything with this. So just throw on the Task Force. Now for the laser section, what we're going to do is much like we did with the MAC-10, we're going to throw on the Tiger Team Spotlight. Increase movement speed and aim walking movement speed. Hey, this is a really good attachment here. I mean, like I said, apparently the enemies can see you with it, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It makes people more, visible in those darker, rooms, which Warzone has a lot of. So you guys should definitely run this. And if you don't want to, like I said, with the MAC-10, you can throw something like a Bruiser Grip to still get a lot of that mobility, same effects. And I think also the Bruiser has no cons, but these cons really aren't that much at all, because this thing is not going to really lack in aiming stability in any way, shape, or form. So just throw this on there. And now in the rear grip section, we're going to go and throw on the Serpent Wrap for the increased ADS time. Like I said, I just want to make this more effective at close range, so we're going to go and throw this on here. Ultimately, it's a great attachment, and I've never found anything wrong with it at all. So just throw it on there. And to finish this whole build out here, we're going to go ahead and use the KGB skeletal stock. That increase ADS firing move speed, aim locking movement speed, and sprint to fire time. This is a banger build here for the Bullfrog. I love the Bullfrog. Probably my favorite SMG, to be honest with you. Between that, MAC-10, both are amazing, but I do think the Bullfrog is a little bit more consistent in my opinion. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys give it a like, subscribe if you are brand new, turn on those post notifications, and just remember, Triple Cap, don't be Randy, and I'm out. Peace.